Hey, what's up? It's Anthony Constantino with a quick message to any reasonably minded Democrats out there. Following the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk, we've all seen tens of thousands of Democrats openly celebrate his murder, with millions more liking those disgusting social media posts online. If you're a Democrat who still cares about a better world and a better future, it's time to leave. Your Democrat Party has become a hate cult. It spends billions, if not trillions, to poison the minds of your fellow citizens so that they hate their friends, their neighbors, and even their family members simply for thinking different. We didn't wake up in a country where millions celebrate death and murder by accident. The Democrat Party, along with its donors and its friends in the media, engineered this. If you see what I'm seeing and want no part of it, I ask that you leave the Democrat Party to force its reform so we can all live in a happier and better country.
I am fucking done with the Democratic Party. You guys are psychotic. I've been a Democrat my entire life. I'm 43 years old, and I've never been more humiliated and embarrassed to be part of something. You guys are the most racist, hateful, bigoted, nasty group of people I've ever had to commingle with. And it's not all, just to be clear, but it's a majority of you guys. The left has lost their goddamn minds. What I've witnessed over the last 72 hours has been an absolute disgrace. Disgrace. You guys want...
The radical leftists are exposing themselves at such a record rate that literally MAGA is not alone anymore in standing against the far left radical ideologies and violence. And I say that based upon all the messages, all the phone calls that I've got from Democrats and liberals that I know. Even some people that are pretty far left-leaning, because I know a lot because I'm a former Democrat for over a decade. The sentiment, the overall sentiment is that they're fucking done with the ideologies that the far left pushes, and we all know what those are. I mean, and these are Democrats and liberals saying that. Not that they're all about MAGA or for Donald Trump or that they're Republicans, but they are finally being very vocal and speaking out against the far left. So now is our opportunity to have those conversations with the rational people. You don't have to worry about the far left, you're a fascist, toddler type acting people, or the bullies online or any of them. Worry about the rational liberal. Have conversations with those people.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a fascinating trend, a trend that I think somewhat restores my faith in this country, okay, the future of this country, the hope that this country will move towards a better place following the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk that leftists are celebrating. Now, it seems as if there are people who are turned off by this celebration from the leftists, including liberals, people who support the Democrat Party. And that is a problem for Democrats because people are associating the far left rhetoric with the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party is not doing a good job at really dispelling this idea that they don't agree with the celebrations of Charlie Kirk's death and that they're serious about addressing the political violence that happens on their side of the aisle, because every time they're asked about this, every time they're confronted about this, they always want to play the whataboutism both sides game.
What I do know for sure is that, you know, Charlie was someone who once said, guns save lives after a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd in the hands of Minneapolis police.
I think he called him a scumbag.
Right, have no regard, downplay slavery and what Black people have gone through in this country by saying Juneteenth should never exist. And I think, there are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so.
What do you think your responsibility is as the leader of the Democrats to curb rhetoric that might be inflammatory, and specifically that of Omar?
we have made clear that political violence directed at anyone in any way or in any place is unacceptable in the United States of America, and every member of Congress, and certainly the President of the United States, have a responsibility to take the temperature down and ensure that we are lifting people up. There are many people who have doubled and tripled down on inflammatory rhetoric in the aftermath of the killing and assassination of Charlie Kirk, who hold extreme views outside of this institution. And the question that should be asked is, has the president brought the rhetoric down?
Yeah. See, it's always the same thing, right? It's always the same thing with these people, but Trump. Well, what about Trump? Well, Trump did this, Trump did that. Again, they can't say anything. They can't give one statement at all without bringing up Trump, right? Without deflecting, without playing the whataboutism game. But again, the reality is that people see what is happening with the left, with their disgusting celebration of political violence, and people who are liberal, they're freaked out by this, like legitimately freaked out by what they're saying.
Gun violence is sickening and wrong. And last statement, if you celebrate this, if you don't condemn it, if you're happy, there's a clear line between me and you now. You are not a fan. I do not support you, and I do not want you to support me. If you claim to be an individual who wants to end gun violence, then you are contradicting your values to their core if you celebrate it. And if you see anybody celebrating it, happy with it, okay with it, please call them out. Please call them out.
Charlie Crist was killed 2 days ago.
Charlie.
I'm sorry.
Kirk. Right?
Kirk. I just call him Crist. I think because of Christ, because of his deep belief. I mean, I disagreed with him on almost every point I ever heard him say. Yeah. But I believe he was a man of faith. And I hope in that moment when he died that he felt connected to his faith, even though I find his ideas were abhorrent to me. Yeah. I still believe he's a father and a husband and a man of faith. And I hope whatever connection to God means that he felt it. Yes.
So I was talking to two young men this weekend. One is a registered Democrat. The other is what he would call an independent or moderate Republican. Neither one of them agreed with very much of what Charlie Kirk said. But they had watched Kirk's videos on campuses for years as Kirk debated students and anyone else who wanted to stand in line for the chance to prove me wrong, as Charlie Kirk put it. And they respected that. They admired his willingness to debate and Kirk's skill at it, even when they didn't always agree with his positions. Now, one of those young men voted for Kamala Harris in the last election. The other did not. But both of them separately told me this weekend they will never vote for a Democrat again. Both said their social media feeds were filled with far-left agitators celebrating Kirk's assassination or saying he somehow deserved to be killed because of the provocative and perhaps even offensive things that Kirk said. These young men know that the Democratic Party leaders have all publicly condemned the killing. They know that these far-left agitators do not represent the Democratic Party writ large. But they found these videos and these posts cheering on a murder so disturbing, so reprehensible, it has turned them off of the Democratic Party altogether. They are not the only ones who feel this way or who are horrified at people making light of murder. People are now losing their jobs for posting such things. Liberals are turning on other liberals who are publicly expressing sympathy for Kirk. And we've all seen many examples of all of the above. The employee at the Office Depot of Michigan was fired after this interaction.
So this is for a prayer tonight, for a prayer vigil?
Mm-hmm. It's still propaganda, unfortunately.
What makes it propaganda?
Because he's a political figure and I don't have to... yeah.
Then there was this exchange of words in Texas.
She started saying, haha, your homie dead.
Yeah, homie dead.
That woman you saw apparently laughing and taunting people that Charlie Kirk was dead. She's a student at Texas Tech University. The university says she's no longer enrolled. She was apparently expelled after appearing to mock students who were mourning Kirk's death. Vice President J.D. Vance addressed all of this while hosting Charlie Kirk's podcast earlier today.
The data is clear. People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem. If both sides have a problem, one side has a much bigger and malignant problem, and that is the truth we must be told.
Now, I'm sure there'll be some who disagree with what the vice president said, that in fact there is a problem and it is on both sides of the aisle. But right now, in this moment, the specter of so many people celebrating a brutal murder is disturbing, and the impact could be far-reaching in ways we might not be able to imagine.
Yeah, so rightfully so, sane, normal Americans, right? People with a conscience, people with a soul, okay? People who are not radicalized, they're freaking out, right? They're freaking out over what we're seeing from liberals and Democrat Party supporters, to the point where, again, you have videos like this where people, again, are being bombarded with videos of Charlie Kirk. And what's happening is they're putting out videos to essentially try to justify what happened to him, right? By saying, well, see, listen, Charlie Kirk said this, Charlie Kirk said that, right? So actually what is happening is that people who are disgusted by this attempt to justify and to rationalize what happened to Charlie Kirk, they're actually going and finding Charlie Kirk videos themselves, and they're watching the videos, and they're coming to their own conclusion about how they felt about Charlie Kirk, and they're realizing that they're being misled and deceived by the left, which again is causing people who are liberal, in some cases very liberal, to say, you know what, I gotta rethink this whole support the Democrat Party thing, right? I gotta rethink being on the left, okay? And I want to react to this clip of this individual, this young, black, queer individual, right? So again, we know what we're dealing with here. Even this guy is freaked out to the point of saying that, hey, you know what? I got to consider leaving the left because I'm disgusted about what I'm seeing. So I think stuff like this is very prevalent. I think that this is very common. And that's why a lot of this stuff is going to backfire on Democrats. So let's get into it.
Okay, hi, TikTok. So I am a college student, and I have really been pondering over the past week politics, my worldview, and just where I stand politically, because after, the events that unfolded over the past week, and the strong visceral reaction to it online, I really sat and thought about it. Really just made me sit and think, am I on a good side of politics? Am I actually aligning with my values and morals, or am I kind of just in an echo chamber full of hate, vitriol, vilification, and just disgusting practices? So I was raised in a very left-leaning space. I grew up in a left-leaning city. I've been in left-leaning educational institutions my entire life. So I always just had that left-leaning moral compass, and it was always affirmed by the fact that as a black queer man in America, there's people who are out to get you, and people hate you for existing, and you need to stand firm in your left-leaning beliefs, or else your rights are at stake. People are going to try to get you out the country, take away your rights, even kill you and whatnot, right? So I've grown up with these beliefs for a really long time, and I've just been so firm in them, and I've been in these left-leaning echo chambers because of them, and I've kind of just always been around left-leaning voices as I got older. But now I'm really considering, if that's even who I am and if that's what I stand for. And I'm kind of maybe considering leaving the left, because after seeing how many people have just been so nasty and just disgusting in reaction to Charlie Kirk passing away from gun violence, it's like so shocking to me, because when I first heard about the news, right, I actually was understanding to a lot of this excitement online. I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person, kind of reevaluate his character. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. That just doesn't make sense to me. I would never support some sort of ideology that pushes for something that nasty. And I want to give a really big shout out to Candace Owens, because regardless of how controversial she is and regardless of her complicated legacy with politics and her possibly being a grifter and whatnot, she posted a really good video humanizing Charlie Kirk in a way that I had never seen before. She displayed Charlie as a friend, as a human, as a genuine caring guy, and just showed a side of him that I think most people had never seen. And it was so different from, the person who you see on the debate stages and, and the controversial tweets and whatnot. You saw a human being, right? There's a video of them in the car singing along to a controversial singer song, right? Singing lyrics, but they were having fun. They were being genuine, like human beings, just vibing. And it just, like, I saw it and I was just like, wait, like, this is like not too much on him. I don't know. And
yeah, he was a human being, right? He was a human being. He was a normal person that, enjoyed good music and, hanging out with friends and talking and laughing and joking and, doing what humans do, right? He wasn't the neo-Nazi leader, white supremacist that these people made him out to be, right? Again, it's just kind of funny how that worked. And that's why I think a lot of this is going to backfire ultimately in the day, because people are going to now become a lot more interested in Charlie Kirk. I mean, if you look at some of the statistics behind how much Turning Point has grown, how much the social media following has grown, it is undisputable that, the impact after the assassination of Charlie Kirk is actually making Turning Point and the conservative movement and everything that Charlie Kirk stood for a lot stronger.
A senior TPUSA official, the organization has received over 32,000 inquiries in the last 48 hours to start new campus chapters. To put that in perspective, TPUSA currently has 900 official college chapters and around 1,200 high school chapters, with a presence on 3,500 total. Charlie's vision to have a Club America chapter, our high school brand, in every high school in America, around 23,000, will come true much, much faster than he could have ever possibly imagined. Truly incredible.
And my guess is that this is happening because you're having a lot of individuals, kind of like this guy right here, kind of waking up, okay, to what Charlie Kirk actually stood for. And I think that is driving people in support of Turning Point in the mission, right? And I do believe that, again, this kiki and haha and the laugh and the celebrating from Democrats is backfiring, and we're seeing it. And again, this is because Democrats aren't taking the advice of J.D. Vance, right? They're trying to do the same thing that the liberal media is doing. They're trying to both sides it. And it's like, no, it's not the time for that, right? The time is to acknowledge that, hey, this guy was radicalized by the far left, and we need to stand against that. We need to stand against those people, even if they are our supporters, but they can't do that, right? You know how they begged Trump to denounce white nationalism, white supremacy, whatever, right? You remember how they was begging Trump to do that? But now it comes time for Democrats to do that, right? Trump did that 1,000 times, by the way. Okay, he never got credit for it. But now it comes time for Democrats to do that, and they don't want to do it. So yeah, when you have such a limp response to a tragedy like this, your leadership is not coming out and telling the truth and denouncing the people who are celebrating. Yeah, it reflects poorly on the party, right? It's going to be a reflection of the Democrat Party, and that's the way that people are going to see it.
And it kind of just made me reevaluate everything. And I was like, it left me with a weird gut feeling, and I kind of felt sick. And I was just like, I cannot believe there are so many people who are like celebrating his passing. Like he seems like a normal guy. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. So then I kind of just like really went down that rabbit hole of like starting to question my beliefs and thoughts. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place. But yeah, that's my thoughts. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong, I guess. But I'm really considering leaving the left after everything that's taken place. What do you guys think?
I think you should. I think that you should leave the left. At the end of the day, what you see in regards to people laughing, celebrating, that it's a significant amount of people, right? That is what the Democrat Party stands for. Again, look at the limp response from leadership. What you're seeing makes you feel uncomfortable because you know deep down that that's what those people stand for, and nobody wants to be in bed with that, right? Again, this is why there are mass firings. This is where you have CEOs, you guys saw at the beginning of the video, Sticker Mule coming out here saying, yeah, people should leave the Democrat Party over this. And he's right. He's right. I don't understand how a sane person can be associated with the Democrats at this point, right? So, again, this could be the turning point in which, Democrats will have a hard time winning any major elections, right? Their party may completely implode. I mean, it's already in a bad place, right? But I mean, again, this could be the final nail in the coffin of the Democrat Party and their hopes and dreams of being politically relevant in this country over the next decade, maybe 20, 30 years after this, okay? I'm just saying that's how much of an impact I think this is having. The Democrats already were having a hard time with low approval, and I think that this is just going to make it a lot worse. It's going to be a lot harder for Democrats to recover after this. And again, part of it has to do with their limp response to what happened. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.